Hello and welcome to Updog Sports Talk. Today we are actually doing a recording for NCAA March Madness. My name is Dilbert, and joining me today is Wingus the Dingus.
Dilbert and Dingus break
Yeah,
down March Madness. That is today's show.
if you're
But
familiar, if you're familiar with the comic strip Dilbert.
I mean, what happened to you? We were known as the bearded council for a long time. We even got comments on YouTube thinking us and the intern were triplets because we all had glasses and had beards. And now look at you getting rid of it. This like I don't even think we're allowed to have people without beards on the show, but here we are.
Two things. One, I did it to mess with my family. Two, technically it wasn't supposed to be part of this show today. So, shout out to our guest. Hope you get better. Yeah, let's kick it off. We are gonna do a debate of
Yeah.
every game in the tournament.
Absolutely, and of course, we let off sounding like doofuses, and we will be very entertaining throughout this, but we'll provide you some good nuggets as well to help you pick your brackets during this March Madness season.
Yeah, pay
So,
attention to Wingus the Dingus, not Dilbert.
we will be doing this region by region, so Midwest region, where we will go to our final region of the tournament. And it begins with Michigan versus the winner of Howard versus UMBC. UMBC looking to make it happen again as a 16 seed. Can it, or does Michigan just keep rolling here?
I think Michigan keeps rolling. I think they took a little off the gas in the Big Ten conference and still made it to the championship. And then they were like, oh, shoot, maybe we should kind of play.
Yeah,
And then that's how Wisconsin ended up beating them. So I think they're going to come
it,
out.
it was Purdue that beat them, but yeah,
That's what I meant.
yeah,
So,
um,
yeah, I got Michigan.
yeah. I can agree with that. And then Georgia and St. Louis. Finally, after the long wait, it felt like 2 years ago we should have seen Robbie Avila in the tournament, and then last year St. Louis kind of dealt with injury issues, so they didn't make it. But now finally we get our moment here of Robbie Avila making the tournament. This St. Louis team is so good on offense. Um, a very strong team taking on Georgia, who can also score. Who do you think wins here?
Let's do it, dude.
St. Louis.
Let's do it.
Yes, I like that. Definitely like them. I hate that they got a 9 seed and have to go up against one of these 1 seeds,
But,
but
guess what? When you're a 9 seed, statistically, you beat the 8 seed.
yeah, yeah, it happens more often than not. I think the only underdog seed to have a winning record against the higher seed. Um, we go to Texas Tech and Akron. The Zips, part of the two bid MAC. The two bid MAC, something that we have dreamed about for a long time. And it finally happened this year for the first time since 1999. This Akron team is tough defensively, and they have an excellent inside out game where they can attack the inside, but if you leave the 3 point line open, they will knock down some threes against you as well. This Texas Tech team, very talented on their side, very tough on defense. Obviously, the big loss with Toppin out for the year. Who do you think wins this?
Ah, top scorer out. I kind of want to pick Akron.
I know. Yeah, you know what? We gotta represent MACtion here. Let's go with the Zips. Cupid MACtion keeps it going. Yeah, I like what this team can do. Obviously, they'll need to figure out what to do with Texas Tech's size because Texas Tech definitely has more size than them. So that'll be the one big challenge there. And of course, the one thing Texas Tech is definitely typically a really safe high seed. but the injury issues might make them a little bit more vulnerable than usual. And this Akron team is really, really good.
Yeah,
Um,
and if for Akron, I think they would have. I think it would have been a let's do it if it was Vandy. There is a little bit of pause with Texas Tech just because they're typically a 3 seed, 2 or 3 seed. So they fell a little bit due to injuries, but yeah, the injuries is what is getting me through this.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. And then Alabama and Hofstra. Hofstra in the tournament for the first time since 2001. That was their first year that they changed their nickname to the Pride. Before that, they were the Flying Dutchmen.
Oh, why would they change it from that?
I mean, like Pride of Lions is
I know,
really
I
cool.
get it. I get
And,
it, but
and it's unique also, but man, like you lose the Flying Dutchman.
the Flying
Um,
Dutchman it may be one of the best names out there for just forget the logo for a minute. Just names.
yeah, yeah, one of the greatest. Like I'm, it still makes me sad that they got rid of that just because of how incredible that name is. The Flying Dutchman.
Whoever came up with that was probably just sitting there like, yeah, I did that.
Unfortunately, and Alabama's a team that will shoot a lot of threes. Typically, in past years, they have hit enough of them to win these games. Um, that being said, like I think Hofstra can keep it close, but at the end of the game, the curse of the Flying Dutchman strikes, and Alabama, I think, wins this one.
I think so too. Um, moving on, let's before we get to the 6 seed, let's start with the 11 seed, the play-in game, the Miami, Ohio versus SMU Mustangs. Two teams that just can score at will.
Absolutely,
We got to start with that game before we even
yeah.
get to this game.
And I mentioned earlier in the show, I'm going to be at Lehigh and Prairie View. That is the first game before Miami versus SMU, which I will be at as well. Um, very excited for my first tournament experience of this game. This game is going to be very, very good. Just like you said, elite offensive scoring all around. Again, with this Miami team, I think you have to pick your poison because like all of these guys can score. And I think the other thing is like I think now they're going to have a little bit more fire now that they lost that conference tournament game. I don't think they're happy with that. I feel like what we saw against UMass was a team that had their target on the back for so long. It looks like they kind of wore out at the end of that game. But now they've had a week off or nearly a week off. I think they'll be fired up and ready to go.
Yeah, I think Miami beats SMU.
Yeah.
Makes a little bit of a statement. The only thing is Tennessee's a tough matchup. 6-11, whatever you want to say, that's still a tough pool for a MAC team. And it's not like
Yeah. But
it's not like they have a bunch of injuries, that you could just kind of make a case for them just to move over. Still want to do with them.
yeah, so here's the thing. Like usually one of these first four teams always advances. I think last year was the exception, but that's because of course they picked a bunch of uninspiring teams that flopped around all year instead of UC Irvine. Um, Last year was the rare exception. Usually one of these first four teams wins a game. Um, I will mention on my side, obviously knowing one of the players, I mentioned on the previous show, like my wife was Ian Elmer's athletic trainer in high school. Happy Athletic Trainer Month. And it's just been a cool ride for us. And of course, in that case, I am biased. So, Matt, you have the final choice here.
I think Tennessee's defense is just a little too good.
Mm, breaking my heart a little bit.
I know it's breaking my heart a little bit too.
Yeah,
But I think of all of the first four teams, I think the best upset could come from that BYU.
potentially. That's the thing. Like, I would definitely like the chances of these two teams, the winner of SMU and Miami, against BYU better than them against Tennessee. The one thing that gives them a chance, Tennessee does tend to carelessly throw the ball away sometimes. They are going to need to take advantage of turnovers in order to beat them. So that'll be kind of interesting thing to watch there. But Matt, as the unbiased, has Tennessee moving on. Um, we will go
Don't
to.
get me wrong. I really wanted to put Miami.
I know. Oh yeah. I'll probably end up having them go further in my personal bracket, of course, but that is again because I am biased. Um, because yeah, obviously, like for a lot of people, Miami's a great story, but for me, it's even a lot more than that. This year has been, however long this ride goes, this year has been one of the coolest college basketball experiences of my entire life. Anyways,
Um,
before we get too sentimental, even though I think for a lot of us, Wright State making the tournament is really cool as well.
yes. Unfortunately, they get the shorthand of the stick against Virginia, but we had the chance to see Wright State twice as a program, and both times they delivered.
Yeah,
So I don't know. We have extensive knowledge of Wright State because of that. Virginia's on TV a lot though too, so we get to see them on TV. But I do want to also put Wright State over. It's just I don't think they can beat a 3 seed.
Virginia, by the way, is about the quietest three seed you could possibly have.
Yes.
No one is really talking about them, and they just kind of go about their business and all of that. I will say, Wright State is a team that can both score. They are very balanced. They are a team that has a lot of players who could beat you both inside and out. And the big key for Wright State is going to be, can they force steals? Can they
That's what
steal the
they were
ball?
able to do all of Horizon League.
Yeah. And obviously TJ Birch is the leader of that. He is just a thief out there. I think we called him that before on this show. But yeah, this Wright State team could definitely put up a fight. I think the big key for them is to be close at the end of the game. We know from experience that this Wright State team, they finish strong in the last few minutes. So that's definitely something to watch there. This is definitely, we're not going to be bold enough to pick a 14 over 3, but if a 14 over 3 happens, I think Wright State is going to be the ones to get it done.
Yeah, I mean they play really good ball. I think they kind of got another short end of the stick on the whole thing. Um, I think they could have been a little bit higher.
By the way, I just have to say it's very funny that UMBC is in this region, Virginia is in this region, and then Ryan Odom, who coached UMBC over Virginia, is Virginia's coach.
He did it just
Incredible,
to get a job.
incredible thing there. Kentucky versus Santa Clara. Santa Clara making their first appearance in 30 years in the NCAA tournament. They have been knocking on the door for a long time, but just every year kept taking too many bad losses to get into the tournament. They've shown the ability to compete with elite teams year in and year out, though. But finally, we get to see Santa Clara get their shot here. Can they get it done? I like that grin. I like that
Yeah.
grin. Yes.
Nothing
Uh,
really about Kentucky. Just nothing about it screams what they used to be. You know, they like an argument could have been made that they were just a couple of games away from missing the tournament altogether. Which is why they're a 7 seed. So, yeah, I think Santa Clara can do it.
yeah, Kentucky's body of work outside of SEC play is not great in the word, or in two words, I guess. Um, And Santa Clara, on the other hand, I think this is a team that's going to be tougher on defense. I think that's going to be one of the keys there. Kentucky does not defend enough. We go to the final game of the first round. Iowa State and Tennessee State. Tennessee State pull off the upset. This is an incredible run for them. Their first tournament appearance since 1994, but this Iowa State team is pretty dangerous, and especially is it lethal in neutral sites for some reason.
You know what's funny is I can see my Tennessee State hat, but it's just out of reach.
Oh no! So that's what you're looking at there. You're trying to see if you could grab it real quick.
Yes. So yeah, because it's out of reach, I think this game's out of reach.
Out of reach, just like your hat.
Yes.
Yeah. We'll have Iowa State moving on there. We go back up to the top of the bracket. Michigan and St. Louis. Oh, I hate this. Like I love the St. Louis team, but I don't think this run can continue against Michigan.
No, I mean, I don't think that they could have beat any of the one seeds. Florida maybe, but just because to me Florida may be the weakest of the one seeds, but I don't know. I don't think they would have made it far regardless.
Not as an 8 or 9 seed. If they got like a 7 or a 10, I would like the chances to go further. But yeah, we got Michigan moving on there. Alabama and Akron. I think part of why it felt like we could take Akron aggressively over Texas Tech is because it feels like Alabama's probably the safe pick to come out of this group of four here.
Yeah.
So we'll go with the Crimson Tide now. And although definitely do not overlook the Akron Zips, they could definitely keep up with Alabama on that game. Tennessee and Virginia. Maybe this is where we kind of switch it up a little bit. I feel like this is going to be a really competitive game. Tennessee might have the advantage inside. I kind of wonder if this is our chance here to grab like a 6 seed over a 3.
Does 6/3 doesn't happen often, but it
It
can
happens.
happen.
Yeah, it can happen every once in a while. Like I feel like we need to have at least one top 3 seed falling out here.
Yeah, I think Tennessee can be that team to do it.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
Tennessee moves on.
And then Santa Clara and Iowa State. I'll tell you what, like I think we're gonna end up with Iowa State here just because of how good they've been in neutral venues. But man, I will not rule out Santa Clara.
I mean, their strength of schedule really isn't far off if that's something you pay attention to. Points per game not far off. It's really just Iowa State's defense is the difference maker.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. If Iowa State is on, they are tough to beat. There's very few teams that can beat them. But they have been prone on occasion to have bad days, and that's where Santa Clara could have a shot. But I think we'll have Iowa State moving on. We'll assume a good day for the Cyclones.
Yeah, I mean, betting on a bad day is like the lottery or yeah, like like you were betting on a good team to be bad. Like that just doesn't happen all the time.
Yeah, absolutely, and especially with the lights are bright, you feel like lots of times you'll see a top team like that perform. Um, we go to the Sweet 16 of the Midwest region. We have Michigan versus Alabama. I think this is the point where, I mean, Alabama, their 3 point heavy game, like those threes hit. That's been something that has taken down Michigan before. That's how Michigan lost to Wisconsin was a rain of three.
The only thing is Alabama's another SEC team that doesn't play defense.
Yeah, and this Michigan team is just a wagon.
Yeah.
I think we'll have them moving on here. And the other, oh, also, like, to be honest, like, if Michigan does not move on from this region, I don't know who will. really
For real.
like
Miami,
some of the
Ohio.
yes. Oh man, if Michigan gets upset, man, that actually does open up a window there.
Like St. Louis beats Michigan and Miami, Ohio just keeps rolling along.
Also,
They
they're
take out
Miami.
Virginia. Yeah.
They're the real Miami. They were around before Miami was a state. Miami, Florida was a state. Um, so we have Tennessee.
You said Miami,
Tennessee.
Florida was a state.
Oh yeah,
Miami is a city in Florida.
yeah. Miami is the city in Florida, which was not a state. Yeah, we have Tennessee versus Iowa State. Who comes out of this one?
I don't know. We had some question marks at the beginning with Miami over Tennessee. I don't know if we can just keep putting Tennessee that far. I don't think they're that great of a team.
Yeah, my one challenge is like, when's the last time Iowa State has? When's the last time Iowa State's made the Elite Eight?
But when was the last time they were a 2 seed?
I feel like that was pretty recent.
I feel like most of the time we see them, they're like an 8 or 9 seed or like a random 5 seed one year.
That's true. Let's see here. They were a 3 seed last year. They lost to Ole Miss. They've been a 3 multiple times. Actually, their last time as a 2 seed, they lost to the Hampton Pirates in the first round. But the second to last time they were a 2 seed was the last time they made the Elite Eight in 2000.
I want to say Iowa State moves on, but I don't know. That's a lot of 1-2 seeds in the Elite Eight.
You know, maybe we'll just be bold and pick Tennessee.
I mean, it can't hurt.
Like for real, like when I look at like the bottom, like it's all bottom 8 teams of this area here, like I really struggle to figure out like who for sure who's gonna come out of there. Like I could really see a really there's a scenario where many of them could make a run at this.
Honestly, I
So
think
that's one of my favorite areas to watch in the tournament because that might be where the most chaos happens.
the biggest thing that we screwed up here was that Virginia probably would have been the one moving on.
They could be,
Probably,
but
and
Virginia
probably
doesn't
beating
have
Michigan.
but Virginia doesn't have a tremendous tournament history lately. Ever since winning the championship in 2019, they have really struggled in the 2020s.
But you know what? Anytime you pick against them, they show you that they can go one more round.
No, I remember I picked Ohio over them in 2021, and that one was correct.
I don't know. We were pretty bold with Gonzaga. I think we do need a lower seed in here to move on to the Elite Eight. So I think Tennessee, though not probable, I think we can move Tennessee.
They may not even get past their first round game, but
Yeah.
hey, we have them here. Again, very competitive bottom 8 of this Midwest region. A very intriguing area to watch.
I
If
mean,
you like
honestly,
chaos,
like Akron, Miami, St. Louis, Wright State, Santa Clara. I think a case can be made for a lot of those teams to go pretty far.
yeah, 100%. I mean, very, very good squads. Um, I think again for St. Louis, like the problem is running into Michigan, which we'll have Michigan moving on to the Final Four. I think that was a pretty clear pick. That one was one that we've had pretty much all along. Um, yeah, just a very, very good team there. So Michigan moves on from the Midwest region.